Greetings all, and welcome to Daily Pali Reading. Today we are finally entering upon what the Buddha has to say regarding Nirvana. Now, one note at the outset before we read the passage, I just want to say that the Buddha uses the word Nibbāna. That is our Pali word. When we translate into English, and if we keep this word Nibbāna, we honor the tradition from which it comes. And the Buddha did not make use of Sanskrit. He wanted to keep his teachings in a language that people could understand. Sanskrit at the time was used by the priests, and Sanskrit is an artificial sort of language, or we should say it's a refined language, whereas the Prakrits are just the natural sort of state. So the Buddha wanted to reach many people. He didn't want to keep this secretive. And so again, when we use the actual term from Pali, Nibbāna, and this would hold for the words like Kamma and Dhamma, we are honoring that tradition and that outlook and goal. However, cut to 2,500 years later, here in, say, the United States, and possibly just the Western world in general, for a variety of historical reasons, the Sanskrit terms have become more popular. So Nirvana, karma, dharma are probably much more widely heard, if not understood, more widely encountered than Nibbāna, Kamma, and Dhamma. So I switch back and forth between the two. I feel that it is a good idea to use the Buddha's own words here, but it's also good to sort of bridge gaps that exist between different outlooks and traditions. Atti bhikkhave tad ayatanang yatta neva patavi na apo na tejo na vayo na akasanyanchayatanang na vinyananchayatanang na akinchanyayatanang na neva sanyanyasanyayatanang na yang loko na paraloko na ubho chandimasuriya. There is, O monks, this realm where there is no earth, no water, no fire, no air, no realm of infinite space, no realm of infinite consciousness, no realm of nothingness, no realm of neither sensation nor non-sensation. There is not this world, not another world. There is neither the sun nor the moon. We will save the remainder of what the Buddha has to say regarding Nibbāna for the next episode, but I will preview that by saying that these two sections discuss Nibbāna in terms of what we're going to go over today would be its non-spatial characteristics, and for the next episode, its non-temporal characteristics. So at the outset, we need to prepare ourselves that the Buddha he's having to use words, he's having to use language, but of course our language is fashioned in this realm, in this world of manifestation, in samsara. It was not made to help us accurately describe transcendent experiences or realms, however you want to look at it. And you can see when you go through this that the word realm or region or sphere isn't really even appropriate. But the Buddha has to start somewhere. Now, syntactically, this is not very difficult. We begin with atti, there is. This is just the third person singular present active indicative of the verb to be. We also do come across other forms of this verb, asmi, etc. Here the sense is there is. And then, of course, we have our bhikkhave, our vocative plural. There is, O monks, and of course we've said the vocative never stands first in the sentence or clause. Tad ayatanang. Now this is just the demonstrative pronoun, tongue, and it's before a vowel, so we find tad, and then ayatanang. Now this word ayatanang crops up in this reading several times, and I've put it in blue here so that it stands out. Ayatanang is some sort of region, stretch, expanse, sphere, almost maybe a kind of a place, but all of these words are inadequate. So I think of realm. I like the word realm because we sometimes speak of realms of consciousness. So thinking of it like that, we're pushing beyond any spatial understanding. So there is, O monks, tada yatanang, this realm, yatta. Yatta is the relative adverb where. And then we have a long list of nouns, basically, that are all in the nominative case because they are all just predicated of this ati, basically. We have to understand another ati here, or some form of the verb to be. There is, O monks, this realm where there is, and then neva usually goes with na, neither nor, but I think we can just say where there is not or where there is no patavi. Patavi is earth. Na apo. There's no earth, there is no apo, which is water. There is na tejo, no fire, na vayo, no wind or air. So these are, of course, the four classical elements that were thought to make up all of everything we see. They were the constituent elements of material reality. They're a little more than just simply like our modern conception of elements. If you look into this, you'll see that earth carries with it the idea of solidity or maybe extension. But I think we can understand this in a modern way. We can notice, if you think about earth, water, and air, for instance, or wind, we can understand these as being solid, liquid, and gas. And then the fire element we could understand to be plasma, which is a fourth state of matter. And what this means is we can think about these four elements as standing in for matter and energy. Further meaning that what the Buddha has just told us is that nirvana, this realm, has no matter or energy. So already we've gone well beyond the means of our minds to imagine such a place. Continuing, the Buddha tells us that there is no akasanyan chayatanang. Now this is sort of more of a technical term. This is actually the first of the four arupa jhanas. These are realms that are experienceable by deep meditative absorption, the jhanas. Akasa is space. Pali does not have a sh phoneme, but Sanskrit does. And from Sanskrit, we get this term akashic, the Akashic records. That is related to this word here. Akasa is space. Then we have anancha. And I think anancha maybe only arises in connection with this word and the next, vinyanang. And it means sort of infinity. Ayatanang, of course, we've just encountered before. So this is usually taken to mean something like the realm of infinite space. And this next one, vinyanang chayatanang, is again vinyanang, anancha, ayatanang, these three components, the realm of infinite consciousness. So now we know that this realm contains, it's not infinite space, it's not infinite consciousness. And continuing, akinchanya yatanang, akinchanya is the state of having nothing. Usually this is just translated as the realm of nothingness, There is not the realm of nothingness. And then, this is a little longer of a compound, neva sanya na asanya yatanang. We encounter our neva na again. This is neva sanya na asanya ayatanang. There is neither perception nor non-perception. Here, sanya is perception, asanya is our not perception. Neither perception nor non-perception realm, or the realm of neither perception nor non-perception. So at this point, we have really left behind anything that our minds might grab hold of. There is no space, there's no consciousness, there is not even nothingness, as well as no sensation, no non-sensation. We can try to picture this. And of course, I should say that this is not something that we are to picture. We can absolutely try to use our minds to go beyond our minds, but fundamentally, this is, of course, something that has to be experienced. And lastly, today, we have nayang loko. There is not ayang loko, this world, na para loko. There is no other world. Para is a word that we come across. There's a stock phrase, kayasa beda parang marana, on the breakup of the body after death. Parang, in other words, can be a preposition which takes the ablative or locative. Here as a compound, I think we just understand this as another. Not necessarily a future world, but another world. There's not this universe, there's no other universe. There's no multiverse here. Also, a note about loco, meaning world. And this would hold true for things like when we read ancient Greek for kosmos or mundus in Latin. When we translate world, these days I think that it falls a little short. When we think of world these days, we tend to think, or at least I do, tend to think of the planet. And we know that our world is situated in a solar system, which is situated in a galaxy, which is situated in a universe. But the word loco here means the universe. That would be a better way to understand that. It's not simply the world on which we live. And lastly, na ubho chandi masurya. Ubho means both, like ampho in Greek. Chandi masurya, I believe, is the first Devanda compound that's been encountered in this daily Pali reading series. And a Devanda compound is one where if we were to break the component words apart, they would simply be joined by the word and, by cha. Here we have Chandima and Surya. Chandima is probably a little less common a word than Chanda, which means moon. So we have Chandima, moon, and Surya, yes, you guessed it, sun. Note in this compound that they assume the plural form with this long a. So by saying there's no sun or moon, could be a way of saying there's no day or night, there's no brightness, there's no darkness. And this is where we will leave things today. Peace, everyone.